Miles, sir, how are you?
Yeah.
It's hot. Hey, Sheriff, let me know if it gets to bothering you too much. I'll take care of it.
Okay, I'll call the meeting to order. We'll start with the sheriff for roll call.
Sheriff Tommy Johnson, third present.
Rick Warren.
Joe Blau for Kerry Blument.
Brian Munn.
Miles Davidson.
Butch Freeman?
Mike Morrison for Assessor Larry Stein.
This was properly posted on April 4th. And Mike, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Absolutely.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Any individual consideration on the consent docket? If not, is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Cody, you want to give us your briefing?
Yeah, we don't have an update on BET watch list for this particular meeting. We will next week, but nothing today, other than an item that we'll discuss here in just a minute.
So strike this? Or is that a hold it over for just a minute?
No, we haven't added anything to the
Okay.
watch list. So.
No action on that item. Item 7, transfer of appropriations.
Yeah, this is currently on the watch list is $1.5 million for employee benefits. Employee benefits is running into an issue of a shortage of cash. They've been holding some claims, holding some prescriptions. They really need to get those out the door. They requested $1.5 million yesterday when we met. Our concern was where that's going to get us onto the watch list. We only have like 1.9, 1.8 left in reserve right now. So we're wanting to do a little bit more analysis of some of the items that are on there and try to determine if there's some other options as far as cash to be able to take care of that. But today they need the 500,000. And then next week we're going to have a discussion about that larger amount. I would anticipate that you will have a recommendation on your regularly scheduled budget board meeting for an additional amount out of reserve to employee benefits. But for now, we're just looking at the 500,000.
Mr. Chairman, did we approve the consent agenda?
Yeah.
Okay. It went right by me because I had a question on the consent agenda. So when we finish this item up, I'd like to go back for just a moment.
Okay. Does this bring us up to date, John? We still are going to owe vendors even after this?
There's still, well, go ahead and give them the number. 317.
Sure. Yesterday the BET heard this, and we're still holding claims from last month. 500,000 will get our prescription claims out of the door. We still have 2 medical claim registers we're holding from last month, so the next week's money, if any, will cover those. So we really need a total of about $817,000 to cover what we're holding. 500,000 gets the prescription claims out of the door, and then we need about 317,000 more to get caught back up. Just as a side note, we started the plan with $1.2 million less put in the plan this year. So we started less than we did last year, and we're about $3 million over budget. So with this request and the additional prior BET request, we transferred about 160,000 more into the plan than we did last fiscal year, if that makes sense.
John, we keep going back to this. Is it time to reevaluate how much money we take in from the employees as well as from the county?
Yeah, we can look at this. We can look at that as well. We see medical claims going down, and we have some changes I'm going to present soon. That should be cost-saving changes to help this. The thing is really prescriptions. That's where we're seeing our big increase with all the specialty drugs. Medical claims can go up and down. We're seeing our medical claims trend down now, which is good, but prescriptions are staying at the same level. So we're coming up with some programs to attack that and present that.
It's just that we keep coming back every year, constantly going back over it, and sometimes you have to take the hard lesson and move up and increase what it costs. It's just inflation's inflation. It's going up.
Weren't we going to look at some of the expenses and related to ARPA or COVID? We're going to go back and see if there was the vendor to see if there was some.
Yeah, and there's not much there, so we do have 111,000 going in at the end of this month for March. Claims are paid related to COVID, so that'll help. But timing issue, that didn't go in until has to be deposited on a BOCC meeting, I think, and then go across the budget board meeting. So there's some timing involved. So
We have to be very careful with this ARPA money. It's a one-time thing. If we start budgeting and planning, thinking that's going to be there next year, what we've got is we've been doing this for several years now, where we have to come back more money, and keep putting in.
on employee benefits, we haven't. We've been pretty static. 16, 17, we had a huge year. Since then, we've trended down really. So we just funded it less this year, and our claims are up too. So county funded it less. We're supposed to put in, to start the fiscal year, $4.5 million to cover retiree costs. We didn't do that. We kind of estimated them lower, so we put less money in. So that's kind of where that budgeting process went wrong. We're really going to look at that budgeting process this fiscal year going into the next one, because it's really just a budgeting issue. Because we knew how much we were supposed to put in there, but the claims were trending down, so we put less in there. If that makes sense.
But the 1.9 that you're talking about for reserve, this would come out of that, correct? The 500,000.
Yes.
So it brings down to about 1.4.
Yeah, and that was our concern about approving the full $1.5 million request yesterday, is that it's going to leave us with very, very limited funds to finish out the fiscal year for anything that's currently on the list, but also any unknown things that may pop up of an emergent nature between now and the end of the fiscal year. I think once we get, John's got some pretty exciting things that he's looking at that would go into effect if Budget Board chooses to on July 1 that could really save some money. I think those will be included in the actuarial analysis that we receive back sometime in September, somewhere around there. And then BET will analyze what that actuary recommendation is, both for an employer expense and employee expense for the next fiscal year. Calendar year for employees and fiscal year for the county itself, to be able to make an assessment on what changes may need to be made at that point.
But the 500,000, you say we owe 817 today with 80 days left in the fiscal year. So we got, is this 500,000 going to post against that 817? That drops us to 317, or you're saying 817 on top of this?
No, the 500,000 would leave 317,000 of current things that we are holding. That doesn't include the claims that are going to come in this month. That was where that additional amount for that full $1.5 million. Now the $1.5 million, I think, will now be, because it was discovered that there was a little bit different number. It would have been $1.8 million So there will be somewhere between a 300,000 and a $1.3 million request on budget board at your regularly scheduled meeting to get through the rest of this month. And John thinks that the plan will be caught up with some of the other reimbursements that are coming in to be able to move forward through the rest of the fiscal year.
Yeah, to touch on that real quick, the 317 that we're missing out of this 500,000, that'll catch up everything we're holding. We just received a first claim register for this month on Thursday, today, for medical. We receive one of those every week, and that's trended down from what we expected. So we'll get about 2 of those we need to pay and 1 prescription register. So we'll probably have to push those to next month, to the first of the month to pay those. But and on top of the 500,000, 317 would catch us up. And that would be about 160,000 more than we funded into it last year.
All right, any other questions on this item?
Yeah. You know, it's, obviously, we need to pay our vendors. We all realize that. And our vendors are, you know, we owe them money and they're looking to get their money, and understandably. So I guess I'm not comfortable that we got a plan, especially when we end up holding. That 300,000 is a lot of money. I understand it's spread around more than one vendor. But gosh, we just got to find some way to do better on that.
Yeah, we're really going to look at the budget going into next fiscal year. Of course, we're going to propose some changes, but the plan was funded way less this last fiscal year than it has been in the past.
Well, it's, if I recall correctly, we've trended downward in the amount that we put in it for the past 3 to 5 years.
Correct. We've been trending
That's
down.
just because of our stop loss and the work that you and your team have been able to do to decrease our costs. Now, everything else has caught up to us. While everybody else has increased exponentially, we're just now starting to see that increase hit us. My question to that would be, do we have any stop loss coming? What are our rebates looking like
Great
that
question.
are coming? And when are all those kicking in?
Great question. So, you know, with the 817,000 we're talking about, that clears up everything till today. Okay. So we could, in theory, the claims will receive next Thursday and the ones we have this Thursday in a prescription voice, we could push those to the first of the month and kind of push those along and pay them. But in June, the good news is we'll receive a prescription rebate at the 1st of June for about $900,000. So that'll be a big injection, should catch us back up. But I'm going to keep an eye on it, obviously, and get with the BET. But we really need about an additional 317 to catch us back up. And we have 111,000 deposit pending too. If we could rush that through for that COVID reimbursement for March, that would really help right now.
So what we're looking for the next budget board is probably an additional $250,000 on top of this 500,000 with our reimbursements and every other thing, or you're looking for a full shot of $1 million?
Well, it all depends on the expenses we're going to get this month. We're going to receive some next Thursday. We receive some this Thursday. The middle of the month, we'll receive a prescription invoice. So to cover those amounts, if we don't want to push them to the first, then we need additional money.
Okay.
If not, they can be on the first.
John, for the way we're doing this, by pushing these claims a little bit, we're not endangering any discounts that we would receive by holding them, correct?
Not yet,
Okay.
but
So
there is a certain point.
as we're looking at this and managing it possibly in the way you're suggesting, knowing what we've got coming, we should be okay in that regard.
We should,
Unless
exactly.
something-
Unless something really spikes up. Just a reminder, on the medical side, we're not that far up, only about 3.3%. Because we pushed some claims from last fiscal year into this fiscal year. You know, prescription's way up, you know, and that's just based on utilization. So we got some plans for that, 7-1, some good plans to present.
Colonel, to your point, when we discussed these numbers yesterday, there were some encumbrances against some of the funds that John has that he wasn't aware of. When we were discussing it, we thought this full 500,000 would cover everything that we've been currently holding. If we would have known that 317,000 was also a number, I'm just guessing, but I would anticipate that our recommendation today would have been the 817 because we wanted to cover everything that we were currently holding. That's the only reason why we settled on that $500,000 number. after everything was done, it found out that there was some more money encumbered against some of that. So we'll at least have that 317 discussion next week, if not adding more on there based upon the approximations of check registers for this month.
Okay. Well, like the treasurer, I'm concerned, so if it takes, like the court clerk said, the hard pill to swallow to increase premiums, then it's better than to defraud people for a period of time, but not defraud, but delay payment for a period of time. I don't like doing business that way. Any other questions? You want to do a motion?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, back on the consent, I just had one real quick question, and that was on item number 3. Item number 3, where it's a cash fund appropriation for capital improvement regular and breaking it out, 16,000 into salary. I didn't know we paid any salaries out of that account. Anybody tell me?
Mr. Treasurer, I inquired about that, and they told me that we had been paying salaries from that. They weren't sure exactly who was paid, but
Let's
they,
find
they,
out.
they told me it was a routine.
Yeah, that was my
Deals.
understanding it's routine, but
Well, it obviously caught our attention, so.
are
I
you
don't
able
know
to
if
go
it's
look at it and then maybe let us know before the end of this meeting? Okay. Is that okay with you to come back to it
That's
when she
great,
returns?
absolutely.
Okay. Item 8. It's another ARPA.
This is for our drainage culvert inventory that we are doing. We have no idea how many drainage things that we actually have out there, so I'll make the motion to approve.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, again, another ARPA. This is for the portable radio batteries for emergency management. I think everybody knows about that pretty much, right? Is there any motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And then Sheriff, do you want to talk about 10?
So 10 is a transfer for appropriations from Fund 1415. And it's operations for projects for the air quality for the COVID HVAC improvements at the Midwest City Substation, and capital project for the Sheriff's Department or the Sheriff's Office camera system. And I believe we've all spoken about that at length. And for the court clerk 4th floor remodel. Transfer is necessary to cover increased costs.
The court clerk 4th floor remodel,
It's a tongue twister.
and you're paying for that?
No,
I
so
think it's just all included in this.
Oh, it's just all in
All
there.
this does is take the money and put it in the buckets so that we can get the architects, so his project, it's just taking the money and putting it in the separate buckets that it's gonna pay out.
And so there's more than one bucket in number 10.
The more in one bucket, yes, for sure.
Yes.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, and item 11 is also ARPA, and this is for the detention center HVAC, loading dock, and center roof.
yeah, this is just like item 10. This is all increased cost to contracts.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Don't you know that the viewers are just wondering what in the world is going on? Why it
Both of
takes
them?
so long? Yeah, I have to explain it to Mom after every
I
meeting.
was gonna say.
All right, and then item 12 is also ARPA, and this is for the salaries to benefits. for premium pay.
Hmm.
Any discussion on this?
Everybody should have seen the Excel spreadsheet that was presented to your office, and everybody signed off on it, so motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any citizens wishing to speak for the budget board? Any board comments, Sheriff?
Tonight, the Committee 100 will be, showing some love and awarding a couple of our deputies for their service that they provided to this community, Mark Johns and Melody Norton. So congratulate them.
As we all know, this weekend's a very holy weekend. I wish all your families, your friends, blessings. I hope everybody has a great weekend. Enjoy it.
A couple things. Congratulations to my friend Tommy Johnson on an anniversary yesterday. Must be why you couldn't call me back. And congratulations to my friend Marissa Treat on her election last night.
2 nights ago.
2 nights ago, yeah. Sorry. It's been a long couple days.
Mine also has to do with congratulations to Marissa Treat. Look forward to having her being a member of this. A little disappointed that we didn't have Carrie back, our acting county clerk up here today on the dais, because she is still the acting county clerk. In fact, the election results won't even be certified till 5 p.m. tomorrow night. And anyway, I wanted to thank Carrie. I think she has just done a magnificent job, in running the county clerk's office. That is a big-time office. It's an incredibly important office. So much of the stuff starts there that impacts each and every one of us up here, each and every member of the county. So again, just congratulations to Carrie. I just don't know how you could have done much better, if at all. And congratulations to the incoming.
No comment, but I guess we need to follow up.
I'm so sorry. My computer didn't work and I had to call Keith. But so this is for the asbestos team payroll, and Stacy manages that in the capital fund. So
Does that satisfy? You're okay with that? You're okay with it?
I'm okay with that. I want to ask Stacy some specific questions. Where is he? He was standing in the hall when I came in.
I can't answer that question.
Yeah, I know. Thank God he's a Mizzou kid.
Okay, so we don't need to reopen that item. We're good?
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
My congratulations to Ms. Marissa Treat also. And all in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.